an English teaching like lesson, but it's like advanced concepts. So it's like advanced grammar. Okay. So my presentation, or what I'm teaching today, is it's titled "Identifying Types of Possession." You know, like my, your, etc. And DPs, which are determinative phrases, and PPs, which are prepositional phrases. I'm pretty sure that most of you have had the opportunity to learn that in your grammar courses, whether in English or in Spanish. Okay, so really quick, let's take a look at this. This is how I felt learning English, and I'm pretty sure that a bunch of people felt like that, or feel like that when you're trying to learn grammar to a certain degree. You know?
Okay, let's go.
Pretty much, it's like, okay, where does it stop, right? The more you dig, it's like, the more questions you have than answers, okay? And that's how grammar, syntax, etc. It's for me. So now, syntax, you know, under grammar, it's kind of, could be perceived kind of like a matryoshka doll, you know, the more that you dig in it. Now, for example, at the very easy point, you know, we have like word order, right? What we learn in grammar, like, oh, you know, you have the subject, verb, object. You know, in this case, I don't have no verb, right? But like the blue house, that's a whole noun phrase, okay? An MP. Now, John has a green dog, right? Okay. The first three purple cats eat burgers, right? Don't ask me where I came up with these sentences. They just I was having a moment yesterday. But as you can see, you know, you have the first three, which tend to be all of this, this huge chunk right here up until cats. Noun phrase, verb phrase, and then you have your object, right, up there. So now, what I'm gonna do, right, I'm gonna go, this is pretty broad, hyper-focus, right, to give you examples, right, and then kind of step back to introduce that concept of determinative phrase, okay, and then that way we get into the whole, how do we distinguish possession or possessors, right? So there's generative syntax and typology explanations, you know, and pretty much like it's like a puzzle, you know, trying to figure out grammar. And every piece is important, you know. For example, you have, I met the man who taught you French. You know very basically like, okay, who taught you French describes the man, that's your relative clause. The dog which licked Cora has become her friend. You have which licked Cora, that's the appositive, that's what we know in English as a positive, right? Which is describing the dog. Nothing to do with Cora, but it describes the dog. Now, you have your students, right? Because eventually, you know, you're going to be teaching language. Some of you, maybe all of you, I don't know. I sent the story to the newspaper that your mother owns. Now, some people, some students, right, might be like, that your mother owns. Well, what is that complementary phrase? Let's call it complementary phrase, what you're seeing there. What is it describing? The newspaper or the story? I sent the story that your mother owns or the newspaper that your mother owns. You know, so that's how subjective, you know, we start seeing in regards to possessors, to describers, because possessors are modifiers. They're modifying words, okay? Now, here's a little fun exercise, right, that was introduced to me when I was in linguistics, and I introduced it to you today. Unlockable, what does that mean? What could you say is unlockable? When I say that door is unlockable, let's pretend that that's a car, right? The Tesla's door is unlockable. What does it mean? That you can't unlock it? You can't unlock it? That you can't lock it, okay? You can't open it, okay, so lock it, same? Yeah. Okay, so for those of you saying that you can't lock it, that means that you perceive this lockable part, right, whole, and then this comes second. So it's not lockable. And for those people who see it as you can open it, right? For whoever sees it that way, that means that you see as unlock, and you're able to unlock it, you know? So it starts being, you start seeing like how it can be confusing. Here's another aspect of grammar, okay? Yeah, and this is actual word, you know, fun, right? It's establishmentarianism, right? Here's a little bit of morphology, you know, that's just an example. I'm not gonna explain this word, you know, I can go on and on about this word, but the concept of grammar, right, which you have syntax, morphology, you know, the construction of your phrases and stuff like that, becomes really hard to explain. And this key concept of subjectivity is important for the processors. You know, when you're trying to learn processors, because you want to learn it really well, so that you're able to teach it really well. And that's pretty much like, you know, what's going on. That's how I picture it whenever I see something new. So the standards, really quick, pretty much students, right, will exchange information through interaction and negotiation of meaning, in this case of the DPs and processors. And students self-assess growth in language learning, practice, and understanding. Okay? Now, NPs, noun phrases, once more. DPs, determiner phrases. Okay? A bunch of people in Spanish, we don't have determiner phrases, right? We don't have that concept, but we do know NPs or SNs, you know, sintagmas nominales, we know. Now, to understand the grammar of English, we must see how syntax works beyond word order. That's too simple. And today we will start with the noun phrases to introduce the determiner phrase to be able to grasp the deeper understanding of possession. So, everybody knows Garfield?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, great, awesome. So you have Garfield, and over there is lasagna. At least it looks like lasagna. And there's Garfield holding lasagna, right? This is Garfield, and that's lasagna, and Garfield is holding his lasagna. There is no doubt that that is his lasagna. That's Garfield's lasagna, right? Those are variations of how to use possession. Now, there are two syntactic constructions. Who remembers trees, syntax trees? Yeah, yeah, right? Some people hate them, some people love them. I'm one of those weird people that likes them.
Me too.
So, you have the determiner phrase. In English, in English linguistics, we have that determiner phrase, right? Where the determiner ends up being like the, her, it, sorry, not it. But the is one of them. That's a definitive determiner, okay? So you have the. This pretty much controls the whole tree. You have the noun phrase, which is house, and then you have the prepositional phrase all the way out there of John. So you have the house of John. So whose house is it? John's house, right? But in this sentence, we have the house of John. So it's in a preposition, right? And it's in a postposition form. Post meaning after. So it's placed at the very end, right? And the easiest way to remember it is it's within a preposition of John, because this is a preposition, in case anybody doesn't know. Of John. So the house of John, that's a form of possession, okay? Here's another form, which it's called genitive, okay? You have John's house, which is the easiest and most common way that when we speak English, you know. Garfield's lasagna, John's house. You're like, okay, so now I'm going to be able to explain like how this works. And the only reason why this works is because this ends up serving as the determiner. That apostrophe S serves as the determiner. Of John, preposition, apostrophe S, genitive, okay? Now, determiner head. Okay, the determiner is in the head position. So my house, your house, his house, her house, their house, our house, its house. Okay? That's the third one. So determiner. So you have preposition of John, genitive, John's house, determiner, my house. And the fourth and last one is the pronoun one, the pronoun version, which is the house is mine. Okay, so there are four ways. 4 ways. Now, 3 ways. So the ways to remember: prepositional, genitive, pronoun. Pronoun, and possessive pronoun. Sorry, that should have been. Okay, moving forward. So now, I'm pretty sure some of you guys know who this guy is, right? Yeah. No, you don't know? Okay. So I've seen that a lot of people like him, right? It's like, I like his haircut, glasses look kind of cool. I wouldn't be able to rock them, but, good for him. Anyways, so we have these glasses, which are part of his merch, right? Who's this guy again? Benito. Okay. All right. So Benito has merchandise which he sells in his stores, right? So what are these? Glasses. And whose glasses are they? Benito's glasses, right? And those are the glasses of Benito. Okay? So we start seeing like a differentiation on how we can describe certain things with possessors. Okay? Now, with this is an activity that I prepared. It's going to take a little bit. I'll do number 4, so I'll do one of the versions, right? But with a partner or partners, right? Please, if you would, I would like to put this up. And okay, markers. Now, with a partner, if you can, between one of these, because of the lack of time, pick one of these 4 ways, right, to express, let's say, Benito's glasses. Okay? So, for example, I'll do, let's say Benito's shirt is white, or, I'm sorry, I'm freezing up. Actually, no, sorry. With partners, look at a possession that your partner has and partners have. We're gonna take about like maybe 3 minutes or maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and then when I pick on you, you're gonna be like, oh, that is Steph's pink laptop, right? Or that is her laptop, or that is the laptop of Steph, etc., etc. Okay? So you 3 work together, and then you 2 work together. Anything, any type of possession.
That is steps. Iba a decir sunglasses. That is steps, Apple Watch, or steps, Apple. The Apple Watch is this is confusing. I don't like. I want to make that funny.
It definitely is confusing.
See.
Now, what okay is most confusing? What you say?
This is gonna be so embarrassing, okay? But I have something together called full milk. I'm like, how like you said like where we all get confused, like if it's a noun or it's or like a noun or if it's a adjective. I know
technical terms, right? It's like so many artists that be like we're trying to learn a whole book, right?
Yeah.
If in this case, if you're thinking about the whole like the PP or DP, right, or all that, just think of one being like preposition, right, which is like this is the Mountain Dew of
So then with this one makes sense, I'm sorry to cut you off, but with this one that I said, this Apple Watch is of Stephanie?
Right. It's awkward.
Right.
We don't talk like that, but it's grammatically correct.
Really?
Yes.
It's not awkward for me because I talk Spanish, and in Spanish we do that.
In Spanish, exactly. In Spanish, it's actually very, very common.
For me, it's totally opposite. When I have to think John's car, I don't know when I have to use the
Because it
S.
doesn't exist.
Because for me, it's of John, always.
Yeah. O sea, la casa de Juan.
Sí,
O sea, Juan's casa, o sea, no existe. That's why it's so hard, you know, but it's pretty much that way. Again, English speakers, maybe it's not that common. It's grammatically correct, but we don't talk like a book, right?
yeah.
Okay, so to reconvene, one example if I could have one example from each person, that'd be awesome. So
Well, I said the phone of Ashley.
the phone of Ashley, okay. Everybody loves the preposition of phone. Awesome, okay, cool. About Ashley, what about you?
Lizette's jacket.
Awesome, Lizette's jacket, that's Jenny's form of apostrophe S. Great.
Her phone. Would
Her
that
phone,
be-
yes. Yeah, that would be the pronoun.
Yes.
No, the determiner way, the determiner, her phone, like the phone, the serves as the determiner. Her phone, her serves as the determiner. So right before the noun, that's the determiner. Like this is specifying the determiner, the noun. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, three. That would be number 3. Example,
Brianda's glasses.
Brianda's glasses. Yeah, awesome. And Brianda?
I said, that is Stephanie's Apple Watch.
There's
No.
Stephanie's Apple Watch, so you have the apostrophe S.
Okay.
Or the Apple Watch of Stephanie. That's the one they gave me
Uh-huh.
earlier, which is the prepositional. Yeah, okay. Now, moving forward. So, if I were to assign something, right, as an extension, it would be like writing a 300-word essay. That's 300 sounds like, wow, you know, come on, man. But that's just like one paragraph, you know, and it would be something like, tell me something about like your family, like how many members does it have? Well, that's just introductory topic sentence, right? And then did your parents, caretakers, you know, because for whatever reason, have pets? Where was your parents' first home or parents? I have a hard time pronouncing it whenever it has an apostrophe at the end with the invisible S. Did their parents come from another country or state? If there was one singular item, right? Like for example, maybe with the animates, like, oh, that's Rafa. That identify them, what would your parents say that theirs is in their home? As you can see these examples, right, that I would assign you if I were to give you homework, right? I'm using these different ways of how you can use the possession, okay? Now, give me a second. I actually tried to prep. If you guys could go to Kahoot, right? I probably should have logged in before. Set, log in. Got it, and then, now, I believe this is where we will go. Classic mode. And this is just 5 questions, right? 60 seconds per question. And it's just so to see the different, see if you grasp like the different ways or how to determine. Okay.
Lala?
Yeah.
Who is Lala?
mi familia, Laura.
Ah.
Yeah.
Honestly, there, let's go.
Where does this go?
Wait. Oh yeah. What is this called? What kind of tool is this? Is it a grammar tree? Is it a syntax tree? Is it a sentence diagram? Or is it a grammar design? Now, if you notice my prosody, kind of gave it away. Good, see? Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure Dr. Fidalgo or Dr. Samparo will be very happy. Okay, I'm gonna press that. This is my first time doing a Kahoot too, so. Anyways, so this is Mighty Thor, and that is Thor, right? This is, Mjolnir is hers, Stormbreaker is his. Now, how I'm using the possessive, is it in the pronoun phrase, the determiner phrase, the prepositional phrase, or the direct genitive, which is the apostrophe S? Remember, preposition, you have to have a preposition. So like, house of John. Okay? All right. So, just to clarify, pronoun, right? Because you're replacing, it's kind of like, that is Bob's. Bob is a proper pronoun. That is his. So his is the pronoun and serve. So that's the possessive pronoun right there. Determiner, remember, determiner is at the very start of the sentence. Okay, and preposition has to have the preposition in it. Like of John, that's the same example that I keep on giving. Genitive, just think the apostrophe S. Right, next. These are my favorite bounty hunters. The following picture I actually took. You know, I found it for the first time, so I was happy. Over in Disney. Anyways, their origins are cool. His name is Boba Fett. Her name is Fennec Shan. How am I using the possessive? Am I using it in the genitive? Apostrophe S. Am I using the determiner way? Am I using the preposition or the pronoun way? Great, awesome. Ready? So just to explain, so remember, determiner, that way, right? It's at the start of the sentence. Preposition, it has to have a preposition. Pronoun, it's over there like for example, that is Bob's, right? And then, which was the other one? And the genitive, well, we already know. Apostrophe S. Last question, hopefully. Oh no, 4 out of 5. This is part of BB's merch. BB's merch, right? He has some cool stuff, you know? I was browsing the things, I'm like, hey, since I like the color black, I'm like, I gotta go with this. I've never heard his music, you know? So, yeah, for real. So remember, apostrophe S, and that would be the other. Okay?
Yeah, it's music playing right now when I was reading.
What was that?
Because they're like the choir. Oh, it came from the bird.
Last question.
We had Sapphire.
This is okay.
You're pretty good at yourselves.
So the following is the bust of Prince of Aragon. Okay? Circa, this was in 1475, by the artist Domenico Gaggini, right? So the Prince of Aragon. How am I using the possessive? Is it the genitive? Apostrophe S. Yeah, great, awesome. And everybody would job regardless, no matter what. 5 out of 5. Oh, good for you. Okay, awesome. Now going back to. Okay, so now, just to summarize my lesson, I can, right, identify the underlying message and some supporting detail across major time frames in descriptive informational text. I can interpret and infer meaning from complex, very complex, academic and professional text of range of unfamiliar, abstract, and specialized issues that are spoken, written, or signed. So how is that? Like, well, you would be able to tell like when they're using what of whose, like their parents' dogs, well, it could get that recursion could get kind of confusing. And I can present clearly articulated, coherent, and detailed narrations on complex, abstract issues and hypothetical issues. Hypothetical because, well, even the determiner phrase itself that I exposed you to is generative, grammar. So it's all up here. There's no physical thing on it. But thank you. I appreciate you for your time.